Hey guys, this is Wolfie. We got a new Amara build. I'm gonna call it the Zombie Amara build. Because we're on the Bloody Harvest event. It's the Halloween event. Gotta be a little spoopy at least, right? But here it goes. We're gonna be taking advantage of the new anointments, the terror anointments specifically, that are gonna change Amara to, in my opinion, the best character in the game. With these new anointments, you no longer have to change specs. Waste your precious money that there's nothing to use it on with. To kill bosses and mobbing. You just run through it through levels. Don't never have to respec. It's great. It's awesome. I'm going to show you the key parts. Warning, this build is not meant for new players. You are expected to have good gear while using it. This is not an easy to gear build. You are required to have anointed weapons and anointed items. Without further ado, I'm going to go into this. The most important part of this build is having items. So, the first item you need, that's absolutely no question to ask. If you don't have it, you can't do the build. You need, on action skill end, apply terror to yourself for 5 seconds. For the next 18 seconds. Every 5 seconds for the next 18 seconds. My bad. What this is going to do is it's going to allow you to apply terror on yourself. Now you're like, hey, that sounds bad. That just means I can't hit anything. Wait. I'll explain this in a second. You can get this on either your shield or your grenade. Either one works. Doesn't matter. You can get it on your weapons too, but I prefer it shield and grenade because you're going to need it all the time. The next thing you want is a passive terror modification. There's 3 or 4 that I know of, maybe 5. But my favorite 2 ones to use are the damage and fire rate and the health regeneration. If you don't have enough gear or if you don't have the best gear or you're missing out on things, I would suggest using the regeneration to give you that extra survivability to be able to do damage and kill people to stay alive. If you just have balls to the wall items, like I luckily do, again, my crossroads probably isn't the best, but it does its job. You can go with just the damage. Now, you must still be thinking to yourself, but Wolfie, terror makes it so you can't hit anything. And normally, you are correct. Let's apply terror to ourselves, right? Apply terror to ourselves. We're max terror now, and we shoot. It's literally all over the place. But if you add a passive mod, it removes the negative of terror. This works with all passive mods. What it doesn't work with are consume terror stack mods. That's what it doesn't work with. So this automatically becomes bottom tier. Don't ever use it. It sucks. Again, I personally enjoy this one. You can probably make an argument for other ones based on your weapons. But I think the damage and fire rate ones are the best. Use that knowledge as you will. Now, that's it. That's all you need. Your best in slot other one is either the extra projectile per shot, or if you can find him, the anointed with another element damage, which is always nice. Or you can find one of these that, while terrified, you deal 50% more cryo damage. Also, fantastic extra damage. Hell, even weapon damage increase. Still perfect. Now, let's go to the build. This is a modified version of my other build. Same properties. You're still going to want ties that bind. You're still going to want stillness of mind. This is for mobbing. And bosses. The only thing you have to change for bossing is just your abilities. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take away some of our survivability and our capstone on the Fist of Elements tree. And we're going to put that over the Mystic Assault tree. Now, these are the ones you want. Obvious. This is obvious. This is obvious. This is obvious. This is obvious. I don't have to explain that to you. You guys understand. There's a lot of misinformation going around right now about infusion. Infusion is worth taking. It will increase your damage as long as you are using anything that's not incendiary. After further testing, infusion works with incendiary cutsmen. I don't know why, but I assume that it is tied to the type of projectile coming out of the gun. It might not work with bullets, but it happens to be working with the cutsman. That is all I know. I tried all the elements. I always do more damage with the incendiary action skill. That's just what I've noticed. Test it, prove me wrong. I would love for you to prove me wrong so it can give me proper information for future builds. That being said, the points wouldn't really be used well elsewhere. Anyway, on to the Mystic Assault tree. So the beauty about this is that we're going to be using ties that bind. Ties that bind scales of action skill damage. Now in the other build, we don't put points in to do harm because we don't have Avatar. So we can't ever take advantage of this. With this build, you're going to passively, accidentally, not intentional, be using the bug or exploit that is still in the game, that hasn't been removed. It wouldn't really change anyway. You'd still be one-shotting everything, but it's going to happen. And you're going to be sitting at around 40 to 50 stacks of do harm and violent tapestry. What that means is you're going to be scaling your link damage with the do harm stacks, which is going to mean you're going to blow everything up. It's just all going to die. You'll see what I mean. All this stuff is pretty obvious. Crit damage, accuracy, obvious. Cooldown reduction. You have to grasp things as much as possible, especially since we're giving a little bit of survivability away. Makes sense. From the other video, you know why we're taking this and this. Put some 1 point extra in there because I always like having my trusty cutsman around to deal with anointed enemies. Awakening, we're going to be using do harm as much as possible. And Avatar, you guys know this game. You guys understand this isn't the beginner's guide. This is a build for us tryhards, us neckbeards. We're nasty and disgusting and trying to min-max as much as we possibly can. Now, there's some variants to the build. You can take these points off, potentially put them in here or here or here or here. I personally feel the difference with this little bit of extra lifesteal, especially because I'm going with the damage terror modifier. I like it. I think it's necessary. You be the judge. I like and discriminate because I use the Crossroads. And I use the Lineage and the Brainstormer. And these are all very good bouncing weapons. My Crossroads freezes things all around and kills things on accident. More Lineage already bounces off things. So you just have more bullets bouncing around. And the Brainstormer can proc more lightning based on it bouncing off of people. Just makes sense for my loadout. If you don't like it and you want to replace these two, go for it. Put it wherever you want. I've tried it. I didn't get the same results. I felt weaker. But if you want to put it somewhere else, go for it. It's fine. The build still does its job. We're going to take this in. We're going to go into a slaughter shaft. I'm just going to show this off real quick. We're going to show this off. We're going to do like 1 or 2. And before we go in, see the modifiers. No damage increase. No damage increase. We're going to press this button. Drop the terror. Try to get full terror before we start hitting anything. Things melt. The one problem with this build is you do so much damage, sometimes the game lags. Don't know why. This build is nice compared to our other one because we have more control. Since you get to use a second charge of Phase Grasp, you get to control the battlefield a lot more. This is non-headshot damage. This is just blowing them up. See, I accidentally killed everybody behind me. That's what I was talking about before. I just like and discriminate. It saves me bullets. I kill things I didn't even know I was shooting at. Another situation. Accidentally kill targets again. Apparently I'm being frozen by one of the... either one of the enemies or these skulls. They cast cryo damage sometimes. So I'm moving a little slower than normal. Just not even scared. We do so much damage. Everything kind of just dies. We haven't even had to use our brainstormer yet. Or our cutsman. Everything's kind of just going down. When you actually do hit headshots, things melt. You don't have to, because it just does that much damage. See what I mean? You just destroy things. It's not even a problem. That's how the entire thing goes. All the rounds. That's what happens. I could go in and show you all 5 rounds, but I feel like you guys get the hang of, you guys get the gist. You guys understand. That's a lot of Damahe. It's a lot of Damahe. We're not even going to change builds. We're going to go directly to the floating tomb. We're going to go kill Graveward. We're going to show that it don't matter. Don't got to change a build. Don't got to change... Well, you can if you want. I personally change it to at least go into phase cast. I don't want to be too disrespectful to the man over there, right? Just in case I want to farm the boss, right? We can look at these real quick. We have a lot of extra damage on this. So, personally, I don't think we're going to need it. But just in case we do, we'll put this over here because crit swapping is still a thing and you should probably still use it as long as it's in the game. Anyone tells you otherwise, well, I'm going to tell you. We're not even going to use an elemental projector. We don't care. Cast this to get our terror stacks up. You should do that once you spawn in. Save some time instead of being dumb like me. Jump down. We're not even going to use the crit swap. We're just going to shoot it. I don't know if it's going to kill him. One clipped. Now, granted, we do have some positive modifiers. We're not going to say we don't, right? But we do have negative damage, and then we have 50% increase. So, like, it's not all good. But it just basically says you don't even need to have an elemental projector, and you don't even have to crit swap as long as you have decent modifiers. That's the build. It's amazing. It pretty much makes her the best character in the game. I think the only other character in the game that can abuse this as well is Flak. And that's because his fadeaway and his rack attack has such short cooldowns. And they should both work with this. Now, I don't know the intricacies of Flak because I don't play him. But there you go. There is the recipe for success. Use it. Hope it helps. If you guys enjoy this, feel free to check out the stream. I stream every night between 11 p.m. Eastern to 7 a.m. Eastern. Sometimes I start a little late. Sometimes I go way later. Like we ended today at like 9:30. You can catch me on twitch.tv/wolfie2032. And I'd really appreciate it if you guys hit that like button, that subscribe button, and please hit that little bell to get the notifications when we post videos. I'm new to YouTube. I'm just trying to give y'all proper information. Thank y'all for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you guys are still watching this, love you guys. Now, go kick some fucking ass.